Hello, this is Pro Guang from Tax Clinic Accounting. I am currently providing individual tax filing services to individuals in Montreal. And for those who run businesses, we offer comprehensive accounting and tax services. In this video, I'll be speaking with an individual who was a client for whom I provided business owner services and who is now also a personal acquaintance of mine. Since he's like a younger brother to me, I'll speak to him informally. He used to be involved in the restaurant business. This is L, who worked in the restaurant industry. Hello, L. All right, let me kick things off with a question. L, when did you first start working in the restaurant business?
I worked in the restaurant business for a full 6 years, from 2013 to 2019.
So when you were operating your restaurant business, did you of course receive accounting services? Or did you just manage all of that yourself? You see, many businesses typically aren't well informed, so they would just pile everything up and only submit it either annually or quarterly, merely receiving basic bookkeeping calculations. How did you handle things, L? So did you pay a regular monthly service fee, or was it a quarterly payment sort of arrangement?
The service fee was paid quarterly like this, from what I remember.
What about receipt processing?
Yes, I handled all that officially, getting proper receipts.
So how many total accounting and tax services have you actually used, if you think back?
In total, 2, including you. It's been 2 places.
You mentioned you used 2 different services, so starting from 2013, how many years did you use that other service before coming to Tax Clinic Accounting?
From 2013 to 2015, I used the services of another accountant, a local professional.
I see.
And then, from 2016 to 2019, I used the accounting service that you, from Tax Clinic Accounting, provided. I remember relying on your services during that period.
You mentioned providing services? Alright, so what were the differences? We're going to discuss the distinctions between accounting service and tax filing service. Could you tell us what the most inconvenient, problematic, or frustrating aspects of the service you received from 2013 to 2015 were? Just 2 or 3 examples, please.
Well, one of the inconvenient things was, and I think many immigrants would probably feel the same way, that since I wasn't very proficient in the local language, effective communication was one of the most difficult challenges for me to overcome.
Right.
Because there was a communication issue, I had many questions, but I couldn't fully express them or get all my concerns addressed, which frankly made me feel quite frustrated. Moreover, with my previous accountant, if I ever had a question and inquired via email or phone, it took an extraordinarily long time before I would get a reply. So that was really inconvenient. And there was also one time when I had something urgent that needed to be taken care of, but that person was on vacation.
Oh, right, I do recall this part. Back then you had staff working for you. While running your restaurant business, you also had to process your employees' payroll. You didn't know the payroll, and he just went on vacation. That was tough.
There were instances where payroll payments were delayed, and in addition to that, there were other urgent government-related tasks that required immediate processing. But he had left for vacation for almost a month, and since I wasn't getting any replies, it became very frustrating and inconvenient for me.
Wow, so just because he was on vacation, you, as a business owner, had to pay payroll and file things, but he just left without setting up any backup for you.
Yes, well, as for dealing with the situation, that person might have assumed they could handle their tasks on their personal laptop as long as they had internet access, but that wasn't exactly the case. He wasn't online in real time. Whoa. Anyway, the responses came very late, and I was really inconvenienced by that at the time.
So how did your tax filing go? As all the accounting work accumulates, it ultimately affects your individual tax filing, especially since you were a sole proprietor, L. But for such a company, was the relationship between the sales revenue and expenses generated from that business properly linked to the individual tax filing to create an optimized solution? Was that actually achieved?
But at that time, I really couldn't tell if that was the most optimized solution. I didn't really know if that was the case or not, because, it was just like,
Only used one?
yes, only used one. And I just assumed that was the standard way of doing things. So, because he had access to all the accounting information for the business I was running, based on that, oh, he'd just say, your sales revenue, expenses, and income are this, so he'd tell me, you have to pay this amount of tax. Then he'd hand me the necessary documents. I'd pay the tax, and that would be the end of it.
So, from 2016 onwards, you started using Tax Clinic accounting services, specifically our accounting service. What was the immediate, most noticeable change that you experienced? It must have been obvious. Before, using just one service, you wouldn't know. But after trying Tax Clinic accounting, it was clear. I was getting the wrong service. What exactly made you feel that way?
First off, as I mentioned earlier, the number one thing is the ease of communication. It's truly most comfortable communicating in Korean.
Explaining things clearly in Korean.
Yes, the areas about which I want to ask. When I ask questions clearly, I get definite answers, the exact answers I'm looking for, and that was, first and foremost, the most comfortable aspect. And well, the Tax Clinic accounting service, first and foremost, the communication between the client and us, uses Dropbox. We can upload and download information almost instantly, inquire about anything we're curious about, and receive immediate responses. At the very least, that aspect was incredibly convenient and comfortable for us.
So before, you experienced delayed responses and missed deadlines. However, here at Tax Clinic Accounting, communication is clear, and through the use of Dropbox, clients and service providers can instantly exchange and receive necessary documents in real time. Is that correct?
Yes, it was a complete game changer. Compared to the previous accounting service, the mere fact that they utilized Dropbox was quite revolutionary for me. Amazing and so convenient.
So that's like the old days, isn't it? Like walking to deliver messages compared to now.
We used to send documents by mail, things like that.
We used to send documents by mail, but now it's a whole new world. You can instantly receive them as soon as they're uploaded digitally. Then, going a step further, what about the optimized advice concerning accounting and its direct connection to tax filing?
First off, the most significant distinction concerning tax filing was that previously, if they said, this is your tax amount, I would simply have to pay it, and I just paid it. But with the Tax Clinic accounting service, they gave me options on how to achieve tax savings, right now. Based on this year's sales revenue, my projected income is this much. If there were methods for tax savings, they would provide me with choices. This gave me the option to select how I wanted to proceed.
Right.
For example, they'd say something like, if you purchase this much in RRSPs to lower your income, you can get this much in tax savings. So you see, the previous firm just provided service one way, like a notification. I had no idea. It was just, you need to pay this. They'd just say, your tax bill is this amount. But Tax Clinic accounting is very proactive, right? They are assertive in recommending solutions in advance on how to minimize your taxes if there are any matters that could potentially benefit the client. Is that correct? Yes, that's exactly right. In the past, with the previous service, it was just a matter of inputting my personal details into their program. I would then simply be handed the resulting figures without any substantial explanation or opportunity for my input. With Tax Clinic accounting, on the other hand, they would compare and analyze various optimal ways to maximize my tax savings and then present those options to me, so I could choose the best option. It was that kind of service.
Speaking of which, was there a significant difference in the tax refund amount you received when filing with your previous service provider compared to the amount you received after utilizing Tax Clinic accounting services?
There's a difference, yes. I never got a refund before.
So no refund before, zero refund.
Yes, no refund at all.
Since using Tax Clinic accounting?
After using Tax Clinic accounting service, I've gotten a refund every year.
Really? Then what about the service fee structure? Tax clinic accounting service fee might have been more expensive than the old service, but the service level is different.
It is more expensive than the previous service, but conclusively, even though the service fee of my former service was lower, I did not receive any refund. Whereas with tax clinic accounting, even though the service fee is higher, the refund I get is bigger, so ultimately, I come out ahead.
So the refund amount you get far exceeds the fee?
That's right.
Like my case.
That was the case for me.
That was the case for L. It doesn't mean it'll happen for everyone else, but since I provide a similar system, it should work for all in a like situation. For the last, I think I know the answer. L has since closed his restaurant business, so he is not currently operating one. But if he were to restart a restaurant or another type of business, which service would he choose to use at that time?
I would definitely go with tax clinic accounting.
And if someone is trying to choose a service, what advice would EL give on choosing one? There's a clear difference in the service fee, isn't there? However, if someone were to advise on how to compare service fees and to what extent one should pay more, up to what amount is it acceptable to pay a higher fee?
However, most individuals would likely consider the financial aspect as their top priority when selecting a service. However, of course, the financial aspect is also important. What specific benefits you can receive and the extent of tax savings you can achieve are, in fact, significantly more crucial.
Right, but service is key.
In the end, even if I end up paying a bit more for the service fee, if the tax savings effect I can achieve is more significant than that, then it's better to. Using that kind of service is far more beneficial for a business owner.
Lastly, regarding tax clinic accounting service, have you ever experienced any distress or issues because the service was not provided properly or was poorly executed? How many years did you use it? From 2016 to 2019. Oh, so you received the service for about 4 years.
Yes, 4 years. I used it for 4 years until I closed the store. I honestly never experienced any inconvenience, not even once. If anything, in addition to the accounting service, I was personally going through some challenging times, and I received a significant amount of personal assistance, at least in my particular situation. Well, perhaps it was because of our personal connection, but for me, it was truly great. I received a lot of benefits too.
So, can we conclude by saying this? The business ACS accounting service. Could you confidently say that from the moment Tax Clinic Accounting began managing your restaurant business, right up until its closure, they handled everything perfectly, ensuring a spotless, trouble-free shutdown and completely finalized all services? Can you assert that with full confidence?
Oh, I can confidently assert that. Because those who run businesses, they generally aren't well versed in accounting matters. They truly aren't. I genuinely believe that's the case for the majority of business owners. So it's virtually a matter of placing complete 100% trust in them. And because most business owners are not familiar with tax and accounting matters, they usually just follow whatever their accountant advises them to do. However, in my particular situation, I genuinely had absolutely no concerns. Even trusting them 100%, they just took care of everything so well on their own. So it was really convenient for me.
And it was very convenient. In practice, depending on the level of care they provided, I believe they truly made a significant effort to educate and inform their clients. So L, didn't you learn a great deal from all of that? Considering all the different methods used, I think you still gained quite a bit.
I really learned a great deal. I learned a lot. And also, well, in my situation, for example, I was enabled to personally take care of the things that I was capable of managing myself. You guided me a lot, so I learned a great deal through that process. And oh, even though I say I learned a lot, I'm not an accounting expert. So, from an accountant's point of view, it might seem like I don't know much, but still. Yes, I learned a lot, and everything was great while I was using the service.
Okay, but if we only talk about the good things, this video will seem too one-sided. Tell me a downside. Let's discuss just one drawback and then we'll wrap up. Please quickly tell me a drawback.
A downside? A drawback. Well, there's actually no drawback to mention. Well, if I must name a downside, maybe the service fee is slightly higher than elsewhere, but I don't think it's that expensive. Well, first, for instance, when it comes to cell phone products, the prices vary greatly depending on the different manufacturers. People who use Apple products, for instance, willingly pay extra to use them, don't they? That's because there are definite advantages and many conveniences that come with using them. I wholeheartedly agree with that sentiment. While your service may indeed be a bit pricier than some of its competitors, it offers a level of convenience and a multitude of advantages that more than justify the cost.
It's expensive compared to cheaper services, but cheaper than expensive ones, due to the wide price range. All right, we've been talking for about 15 minutes. This is from someone who used Tax Clinic Accounting's business services, and yes, he is an acquaintance of mine. Well, since he was genuinely sharing his experience after having received the service himself, you can definitely take this as a user review. Of course, the service will vary a bit depending on each individual's specific needs for each person, but the service approach of Tax Clinic Accounting is largely defined by one standard. Well, it's set. A similar service will be provided. Please note that even if you use our business owner services, this has been Pro Guang from Tax Clinic Accounting. Thank you.